My name is Raj Topalian, and I am a manager of the UPP program. Before we go further with the presentation, I want to review the functionality of the WebEx. And WebEx is actually the platform, the Cisco platform that we're using for this webinar. Right now, I have everyone on mute to avoid background noises that may distract you from listening to the webinar. You can enter your questions or comments during the presentation in the chat box that you already saw. During the presentation, I'll be focused only on presentation, but time to time I will take a peek at your questions and I will address all of them in the end of the presentation, where we'll have a separate section, Q&A section for your questions. If I do not get to all of your questions, then I'll personally email the answers to your questions after the webinar ends. And the reason is because we have a limited time, just 1 hour, and we need to cover the presentation and also answer all of your questions. Another important thing that I would like to mention is this webinar is being recorded. I hope so. Yes, it is being recorded. And we will upload this video file on the UPP website in the nearest future, along with the presentation and the questions and answers that we will have during this session. Okay, so now I'm entering a screen sharing mode. Yes. And you may ask why you can't see a chat box. And this is normal. Just move your mouse to the top of your screen, to the WebEx panel, and you will see a chat button. Just click on it, and the chat box will appear again. And I hope that my chat box does not hinder your vision. Okay. Great. Okay. Again, and we will answer all of your questions in the end of the presentation, as I already mentioned. Now, with that, we can start. So, what is UPP? UPP is an initiative implemented by Eurasia Foundation and funded by U.S. Department of State that connects higher education institutions in the United States and Russia to support the launch of new bilateral partnerships between those two countries. The Eurasia Foundation's partner in Russia is the Moscow-based National Training Foundation, our great partner that takes care of, all the logistics in Russia. Also, I would like to remind you, or you may already know that UPP consists of two main components. So one component is the database where higher education professionals can post projects and search for potential project partners. And we received several questions about that. We received questions, how can I find a Russian partner, or how can I find US partner? And exactly for that, we established this database where you can post your projects and you can search for potential partners. Okay, the chat box covers the presentation. I'm so sorry for that. I will move it over here, and I think this one is also covering it. Is it okay now? Can you confirm that you can see the presentation now without any? Okay, wonderful. So as I said, the first component is the database where higher education professionals post their projects and search for potential partners. And I will show you how to use the database in real time a little bit later in my next slides. So the second component is the funding competitions that offer financial assistance to pairs of higher education institutions for launching those new bilateral partnerships. And we are going to talk about those in details. So currently, UPP invites higher education institutions from Russia and the United States to participate in its second funding competition for new bilateral partnerships. We just finished our first round of funding, and I believe the end date was June 1st. And after the summer holidays, let's say like that, we started our second stage, our second round of funding. And it has the same similar system as it was during the first round. So UPP uses a two-stage competition model. The first, contact stage, provides modest funding to support the design of partnership project proposals. And the second stage, linkage stage, offers more substantial funding for the implementation of those projects. Institutions may apply to both stages, to contact and linkage stage, or they can apply directly to linkage funding. It will not affect your proposal anyway, so you can directly apply for linkage, or you can apply for both stages. The proposals in the end, the linkage proposals will be equally treated by the panel, reviewing panel. I'm going to talk more about those contact and linkage stages in my next slide. So if you have any particular questions, you may pause for a second and see if I address them in my next slides. If not, you can still ask your questions in the chat box. Okay, let's move to the contact funding. So the contact funding competition offers up to $2,500 US per partnership to facilitate the initial development of collaborative project proposals, which will be submitted to the second stage of the UPP funding, the linkage stage. In other words, this contact funding is to help institutions, Russian and American institutions, to develop a proposal that will be submitted to the linkage stage. And the linkage stage, the linkage funding, is actually the project implementation stage. So the deadline for contact applications is in just 15 days, I guess, on October 1st, 2015. So all the components of your application need to be submitted by that time. Just to mention that the funding period for the contact stage is 40 days. And in the previous, for the first funding round, we had a 30 days limit. And based on some feedbacks, we decided to extend it to 40 days. And I hope that this time it will be more efficient with 10 days increase. The award, as I said, is $2,500. Very important thing that some proposals did not address this issue in the previous rounds. Projects should illustrate at least plans for concrete and immediate benefits in both countries. So for the contact stage, you should already envision, plan what will be a concrete and immediate benefit of your project in both countries after the implementation of your linkage stage. And you need to explain, to address it in your contact stage as well. We need to see that you're thinking about that. You're thinking about creating a benefit for both countries. It's not a technical assistance of one country to another. It's an equal bilateral partnership. Again, the proposals should have at least, this is the requirement, at least one Russian and one US institution. You can have up to 4 institutions partnering within one partnership, but again, at least one Russian and one US institution is the requirement. Okay, let's move to the second slide. Next slide. Linkage funding. The second stage is a linkage funding competition, which offers up to $41,000 for joint implementation of partnership projects over the period of 12 months, so maximum 12 months. The application submission deadline is January 22nd, 2016, so there are still several months to go. Besides the $41,000 of the UPP funding, institutions also need to contribute cost share of $5,000, and that could be in kind or monetary. It's your choice. And I would like to emphasize this because we received several questions about whether we should transfer this money before the application is selected or something like that. No, after you get selected for the linkage stage, you need to show that you have this 5,000. You need to commit this $5,000, but you don't need to transfer it to Eurasia's account or somewhere else. You need to have this money to spend on your project. This is for you. We just want to see that you are able to contribute a cost share, in kind or monetary cost share. And you should to articulate this in your proposals as well, because based on that we will be reviewing your proposals and deciding who will be the winner. So this is at least $5,000. You can contribute more. And again, the division of this size $5,000 is your decision. So it could be one institution contributes all $5,000, or maybe 50-50, or 60-40. It's your decision. We have nothing. We have no requirements for that. And we will talk more about this in our future webinars related to the linkage funding competition. That will be probably in December. Again, here you already need not just to show the plans, but illustrate concrete and immediate benefits in both countries. So by the end of the 12 months, which doesn't mean that your project ends in 12 months, the long-term project, but the funding period ends in 12 months. You need to show the immediate and concrete benefit in both countries. We need to see that this project was beneficial not for one country, but for both countries. And again, Russian and U.S. institutions, one Russian, one U.S. institution is the requirement for each partnership. I see there are some more questions coming, but we will keep all of those, and we will. Actually, not we, because I'm the only one who is presenting. So I will answer your questions in the end of the presentation. Again, application deadline is January 22nd. Let's move to the next slide. So now I would like to discuss eligibility requirements, which is also very important. You need to understand pretty well who is eligible to apply. And proposals must meet all of the following requirements in order to be considered for this funding. So, who is eligible to form a partnership? Any higher education institution accredited by the Russian Ministry of Education, or by U.S. Department of Education approved accrediting agency. And there are several agencies in the United States that are accredited to accrediting universities, right? So I'm not naming them. And those institutions could be colleges, community colleges, liberal arts colleges, graduate institutions, even music conservatories, research institutions that can grant degrees, and so on. If those universities are accredited, degree granting, and located in the United States or Russia, they are eligible to apply. However, this does not include non-degree granting institutions. Let's say NIH, right? National Institute of Health, or Russian Academy of Science, or any private corporations such as pharmaceutical companies. Those types of institutions can support those partners or partnerships by participating in the projects or even contributing to the cost sharing, but they cannot receive funding directly from UPP. Second, UPP is focused on funding new partnerships. So what does it mean, new partnerships? We consider the following relationship between two universities, a new partnership. The project can be funded if partners have never worked together. And this is, I guess, pretty clear. Or they haven't established any initial contacts, but they basically established some contacts, but they haven't entered into the contractual partnership, right? Another option would be partners with some type of previous relationship, so they may had some projects before, like several years before, but in a different field. So basically, they have projects, but those projects are former, so they are not acting now. They finished, and they are in a different field, right? That would be okay. That would be eligible for the funding. So those are three main understandings of new partnerships. Okay, another thing that I would like to mention is projects can cover any academic field, and this is the difference with other funding programs. We are open to any academic field, any framework, partnership framework that you can offer, but the project should avoid topics that focus on, let's say, political activities or government policies of reforms. Anything that kind of sensitive, has political basis in it, we are trying to avoid those kind of topics. And also, regarding the frameworks, the partnership, the money for the partnership cannot be spent on internships and student exchanges. Those are very costly, very expensive partnership types, and our funding basically is not enough to sponsor those kind of relationships. That's why we are excluding them from the beginning. Next, all universities, participating universities, should be registered individually in the UPP database. Then all the components that we have listed on the website need to be filled out by both institutions and sent to the UPP address. It's the UPP@eurasia.org email address. And I mean, I'm saying it now, but it is everywhere in the on the website. You can see the email address. And about the language for the applications, we received several questions about which language is better, which language has a preference. There is no preference. You can fill out your application in either language. It's your choice. Our staff is bilingual. We have Russian speakers, English speakers, so no difference, no preference. There are several areas where you need to fill out some information in both languages, but you will see the description, so you will know that this is something that you need to provide in both languages. But generally, you can choose the language, and we need application only in one language. Don't send us, actually you can send us, but there's no basically sense to send us applications in two languages because we will not review both of them. We will review only one of them. Also, very important that all the components of the application need to be signed by key personnel. And here I would like to pay some attention to that and describe who are those key personnel that I'm talking about. First of all, so there are three people that we require to have for each institution to participate in the partnership. First of all, institutional official. Who is that? Institutional official is legally authorized to approve agreements on behalf of the institution. Also, that person guarantees that administration of the institution is aware of the project. Institutional official signs application, grants management questionnaire, and grants agreement. And just to bring you some examples, that could be a rector, dean, president of university, maybe department chair, so kind of top management person in the university. Project director or project manager. He or she is responsible for project implementation. Project director signs application, meaning proposal, grant agreement, and narrative reports that are also part of the project. For example, this can be a faculty member, researcher, office head, professor, right? Next, financial manager. Financial manager is responsible for managing project funds and tracking expenses. So this person needs to have some financial literacy, right? Some maybe practical knowledge, or some knowledge that he or she can use as a financial person. Also, financial manager signs grant management questionnaire and budget reports. Very important thing that financial manager must be different from the project director, right? So we need to have three different people from each institution, each university. There's also an understanding of other personnel, which is optional, and that could be anyone who you think is important for the project. Those people could be like key individuals who will be participating in some researches or some other parts of the project, and you really want to mention them. You can do that, and you can indicate their names and their background in the narrative portion of application of the joint component. So you will have a narrative portion, and there you can basically provide information about this key other personnel, right? Okay, I think I'm done with this slide. Now, I would like to move to the website, to the UPP website, and show you how to use the database registration form and some other features of the website. Let's see if it works. I think it works. Yeah. Let me move this one here. I think it's covering some part of the website. Okay. So this is the UPP website. It is bilingual. You can change language here, and everything is in 2 languages. It is priority for us to make this partnership, bilateral partnership between Russia and the United States, so you have all the information in both languages. Actually, let me log out, because now I'm logged in as an admin, and you will see a little different interface. Okay. So this is how the website looks like. First of all, you came to that website and you want to register a project. Oh, let me start from a different end. Okay, you came to this website and you want to find a partner, right? So in order to find a partner, you should go to the project database. So this is the project database that contains multiple projects submitted by Russian and US institutions. And you can use this comprehensive search engine to locate exact institution that you want. Let's say you are looking for a Russian university in the field of dual or joint degree programs, and the academic field, let's say what? Health. Okay? Let's search. Okay. You have multiple entries here. And you can see the name of the university versus this one. The country, the partnership type. Okay, partnership type and academic field, most of the universities, well, not most, but many of them actually select several fields to be popped up in more searches, I guess, or they are interested in different projects or different partnership opportunities. So that's why we have so many entries here. But when you click on the website, on the name of the university, you can see more detailed information about this university. If you are logged in, you will see some more functions here, such as contact that university and start a dialogue, a linkage between you and this university. But now you cannot see that because we are logged out. So this is the one way to search for a partner. Another way is register a project. So you register your project, you register your idea, and it can be a pretty broad idea, or it can be something concrete. It depends on your, on your plans. And then other institutions in opposite countries. So if you are a U.S. institution, so in opposite country, Russian university will search, and they may find you, and they may contact you with some proposal. So we are in the register a project section. You need to accept terms of use. Of course, read them before accepting them. And this is the registration form. It is a little bit detailed, but that was on purpose because we want to have all the information in both languages, in Russian and English, so that universities on both sides can access the information and read everything. The first page, the first information is just basic login, email, and password, while the profile information is more detailed. There are 4 sub-questions, subsections with questions in both languages, in English and Russian. So after you complete this, you can click on confirm and your profile will be confirmed. So if you are unable to complete the profile in opposite language, let's say if you are completing it in English and you don't know Russian or you don't have anyone next to you to help you to fill out this information, you can click on check this box, I'm unable to complete the profile in Russian, and UPP staff will get back to you with some potential options to resolve this problem. Okay, then when you click on confirmation, complete registration, we will receive the request. We will review your profile, and after we confirm that everything is okay, and you can basically submit your account, we will activate it. Sometimes some profiles don't have Russian section or vice versa. We will contact that person and ask to complete it or help with this translation, and after that we will activate it. Okay, leave this page. So application components. Now when you go to, first of all, about UPP, then partnership funding, when you go to this section, partnership funding, you will see a PDF file for each competition, basically for contact competition and then for linkage competition. You will not see any application forms that you need to complete to submit for funding. That will be available for you only after you register on the website and you get activated. And with your username and password, when you log on the website, you will have 3 more options here, and I will show you right now what are those options. But for now, let's open this request for proposals for the contact project funding. This file has detailed information about the competition, about the requirements, about the eligibility criteria, about the selection criteria. We received several questions about the selection criteria, and here you have 8 selection criteria that will be used by our review panel to select the winners of the contact stage. Let's go back, let me log on, and let me show you the application forms. Again, partnership funding. Now you see 3 more files here. So those are 3 files that you need to submit to apply for contact funding. Individual component needs to be filled out by each university participating in the partnership. Joint component needs to submit it only once by both universities, so this file needs to be completed by both universities, so don't submit 2 forms, just 1 form. And the budget form, also submitted by both universities. So basically you will have 4 documents, 2 individual components, 1 joint component, and 1 budget form. So those are the application forms that you need to submit on October 1st. Okay, so I think I explained everything. You can also sign up for our UPP newsletter. We update our newsletter once in a while, and we also provide all the information. It's basically the fastest way to get news and updates on the UPP is through our Facebook account, and you can like us here, and also Twitter account, which is also very active. Okay, so let me move back to the presentation. Here we go. Now, I would like to provide some recap to make sure that everyone understands the process of completing the application and submitting them. First of all, register on your project. Register on the UPP database. Find or bring your partner in. In order to find your partner, you can use database, or you may have some initial contacts with some Russian or American universities. You can bring them in and apply with them to the funding. Log on and download the application forms that I just showed you, those 3 application forms. Fill those forms out and send them to upp@eurasia.org email address. And you need to do that by October 1st, 2015. This is the deadline for contact funding. And for the linkage funding, it is January 22nd of 2016. So this is the basically flow of the process to apply for funding. So what's next? And next is the question and answer section. We reached that. And I'll be happy to answer your questions now. And I see several questions submitted by several people. Some of them are pretty long. Let me read them, and then I will answer those questions. Okay, one question. Can cost share come from one partner only? Yes. One university from the partnership can contribute all cost sharing, 100% of cost sharing. And this is absolutely okay. As I said, this is a decision of 2 universities partnering together. Besides 2 university partners, do other partners have to be higher education institutions? As I said, only institutions that are accredited, degree granting, located in Russia and the United States can receive funding from UPP. Other institutions or companies can be part of the partnership, but they will not be able to directly receive funding. They can participate in the partnership by providing cost sharing or some other forms of partnership that they can contribute to, but they cannot be a recipient of the UPP funding if they are not degree granting accredited institution. Let's move to the second one. Okay, we have grants office. All our grants are signed by senior research official in the grants office who get administrative approvals. Does this mean financial officer for you? Do you still need institutional officer as well? Institutional officer. Okay. Answering to the first part of your question. We need to see that the grants agreement is signed by the top management of the university, and that university is aware of this partnership. If this financial officer is the top person in this row that can sign this document, that should be fine. We prefer that these partnerships, these proposals signed by either rector, dean, or department head as the official institutional official that has the authority to sign this kind of agreements. But it depends on the institution. Sometimes these kind of senior financial officers have this right and have this authority. If this is your case, that should not be a problem. Also, financial officer. We need financial officer throughout the project. Financial officer signs budget forms, signs grants management questionnaires, deals with all the transfers and transactions that we have between Eurasia Foundation and the recipient. So this should be a person who is with the project throughout the entire period. If it is contact stage, it's 40 days. If it is linkage stage, it's 12 months. So this is the person that we envision as a financial officer, a financial manager. Okay, I hope I answered your question. Let's move to the next one. Give me a second. This one is a long one. Okay, here's a question. The Russian university and U.S. university that we are looking to bring together, we have been working for the last year to develop a partnership, and just 6 months ago we helped the two universities, one in Alaska and one is in Kamchatka, to sign a memorandum of understanding that have laid out their interest to participate and work together. But they have almost no money to actually implement and collaborate together. We are hoping that the UPP grant could help with them. But I'm concerned we may not be eligible because we just signed a MOU, basically memorandum of understanding between the two universities. Are we still eligible? Mm-hmm. Yes. So it's a tricky question. So it depends whether the project already started or you just made an initial contact and you have basically, if you apply for linkage stage, you are definitely eligible, because one of the things that we are looking for in the contact stage is that two universities sign the memorandum of understanding, and when they complete their contact stage, they already have this and they can apply for linkage stage. So basically, the memorandum of understanding is not a barrier to apply. I'm not concerned about that. I'm concerned about the relationship between those two universities. Are they in the stage of developing something already, or they are just thinking about potential opportunities to collaborate? That would be a thing that we need to understand. And if there is existing partnership at this moment, that's the problem. You may not be eligible to apply. If it is just initial collaboration, initial steps to partner together, and you have MOU, that's okay. You can apply with MOU. MOU is nothing, just the document that shows that there is intention, there is trend, there is desire to work together for some potential project or some potential collaboration, and that should be fine. So there's another question which is pretty similar to the one that I just explained. We have established a contact with university in Russia, even have general MOU, but never had any collaborative projects. Do we qualify for a new partnership? Well, again, establishing contact is absolutely fine. This is what we are looking for. We need to see that there's nothing, there's no implementation at this stage. You haven't started any project implementation, and you just see some potential for collaboration with this Russian university. You have MOU, and you need this funding to move forward. That should be fine. We cannot provide funding for existing partnerships. If it is not existing partnership, you are eligible. Can universities apply for linkage stage funding with the same partnership type if the application for the linkage stage from the first round was not supported? Yes. Here I need some clarification. Are you talking about the same partnership type, or basically the same partnership type and the same partner and everything the same? Because in that case, it's not you still can apply. It's not a problem. But then if you were rejected in the first stage, maybe you need to maybe reconsider something, or think about some new components. This is my main question. But yes, you can apply again if you haven't received the first linkage grant. You can apply for the second one. That's not a problem. Moving to the next one. Yeah, again, some clarification. Again, yeah, if they are thinking about potential opportunities on collaboration, that's absolutely fine. They can apply. And MOU is not a barrier to apply for the funding. It's even better if you have MOU. We can see that there is some real intention, even documented intention to participate, to partner, to collaborate with each other. Okay, one more follow-up question on MOU. So what if an institution had an MOU with a university many years ago, but would like to begin a new project in an area similar to the area in which work had been done over a decade ago? Give me a second to think. So basically, I need some clarification here as well. The partnership, the area of partnership is the same, but you just want to re-enable it after several years. And you want to start over what you started several years ago, and you had MOU with this university. If that's the case, unfortunately, that will not be eligible. The area is the same. Okay, I see some clarification. New project, new people. So the problem is that we are not concerned about the people. But when you say new project, for us, it's not a new project. If you had a partnership with one university in specific field, and now you are trying to enable the same partnership with the same university in the same field, but with some maybe slightly new ideas. For us, it's a continuation of the project. If you change the area, that could be something that we can consider. And also, we may not understand each other in terms of the area. When you talk about area, it could be something very broad, and in that case, it could be still eligible. But if we are talking about specific partnership in specific area of research or collaboration, and you're trying to enable the same thing, that's something that we are not willing to sponsor, because we are trying to enable new partnerships with new universities in the new area. I hope my explanation was clear to you. We still have some time, and if you have questions, I'll be happy to answer. Also, I had some questions in the sign-up sheet that you currently completed to participate in this webinar. Let me log on and see if I can find this file, and I may answer some of the questions that you asked. Okay, here we go. So there are several questions about technical side of the application, things like how to move forward after you completed the profile, and I hope I managed to address those questions. And if you have some additional questions, please feel free to email to upp@eurasia.org, and me and my colleagues will be happy to answer to your questions. There's another question about the changes between the previous round of funding and current round of funding. Yeah, main difference is the time period. As I said, the first round had 30 days of time period for the contact stage, and this one is 40 days. There are some additional questions in the application form that you may notice, but overall, the concept, the basis of this competition is the same. Okay, I'm getting some more questions in the chat box. And yes, so if you already have MOU and you think that contact stage is not necessary for you at this moment, if you already established some contacts between your university and your partner university, you may think about applying directly to linkage stage. Because again, the main point, the main purpose of the contact stage is to help you to establish this partnership. Is to help you to bring together two universities and finance some basic needs such as traveling or using some internet technologies to establish some communication between you and your partner. So if you already have that, you basically may not need the contact stage, and you may move forward directly to the linkage stage. And as I said, there is no difference if you apply for contact stage, win contact stage, and then apply for linkage, or you directly apply for linkage. For us, those are equal proposals. Another question. Can we fill out that current application now? Is it available right now online? So application forms are available for both stages right now on the UPP website. You can download either contact or linkage stage applications. You can fill out those applications and you can send it to UPP. That's no problem. You may even take some time to review those applications, maybe 1 or 2 months, to make sure that you complete everything, you provide all the information for the linkage stage. That's absolutely fine. Yes, very good point. Thank you. Website also lists priorities in geographic area in Russia. Are these geographic priorities preferences in the US as well? Yes and no, because it's very difficult to understand which part of the US is actually, the center of the US, right? Because we have universities all over the US. We have universities south, west, east, north, and good universities are all over the United States. And most of them already have some connections with Russia. And for the United States, I don't think that this is something very, we have some specific geographic priority. Previously we had universities from places like New York, which is actually city center and pretty urbanized area of the United States. So I think I'm saying that for US you don't have the strict requirements for geographic area because it's very difficult to define those areas. But what we are trying to do is to diversify geographic areas within our finalists. So we will try to not have universities from the same place, several universities from the same place, though it basically depends on the quality of proposal. This thing will be the secondary. But again, diversifying geographic area will be one of the approaches that we have. So one more question related to the previous partnerships. I was involved in a project with a community organization. Several universities were involved with several universities in Russia. One of those universities would now like to begin a new but related project. This is a new relationship, but the relationship began while being supported by another source of funding. In this circumstance, is it okay to continue in the same area, or should we pursue a new area? Yeah, that is clear. Let me think about this. So a new partnership that is related to the previous project. Okay, if this project is with a different partner, right? And even if you had this project with someone else, but if this project is with a different partner, and it is different in substance with the one that you had before, that should be fine. Oh, okay, I see. The second part is saying that that was supported by another source. Okay, that here is the issue. If this partnership is already in place and it is supported by someone, and your funding ended and you don't have funding to continue it, UPP is not the right funding source for you. There are other opportunities, there are other funding sources that you can use. UPP is focusing, if this is something that was sponsored by someone before, it means that that was the existing partnership that ended or that needs some additional funding to continue. This is how I understand that. Even if the partner changed, because you had the same funding, you had the same project, maybe your partner changed, but that was the creation that happened before, and now you need some additional sources to continue. So this is something that is not within the borders of UPP funding. I hope I managed to explain it. I may not catch exact thing that you're trying to say. If you want, you can email separately and describe in more details this related project, and we may consider some other options for this. But if this is the existing project and it was sponsored by another source, that is not eligible for you. I'm sorry. Can a university submit several applications with different partners? Yes, absolutely. You can submit several applications with different partners, maybe with different areas. But here's the thing: only one application will be approved. So we will not have two finalist projects with the same university. This is our approach. I'm sorry to say that, but we will select. If you are selected, you will select only one partnership that has one university, even if you submitted several of them. Okay. Any other questions? We are approaching our. Okay. One more question. Oh, not one more, several questions. Okay. Of the potential partnership between the two universities, we are thinking we would like to work on a couple initiatives, one of which is student exchange, but for this student exchange, we are applying to different source of funding, not UPP. For other aspects of the partnership, UPP funding would be extremely helpful. Is it okay? No, I'm sorry. So basically, what you're saying is that you have a idea to start a student exchange, and you are bringing in some other funding from some other sources, and some of this potential partnership student exchange is a different component, and you want to spend UPP funding to cover this component. No, this is basically it would be addition to existing project that you are getting sponsored by somewhere else. Unfortunately, this is not the approach that we use. If you have a new idea that could correlate in some way with your student exchange, that would be fine. If you have something that has some kind of connection with your student exchange and you want to sponsor some separate project and you would like to apply for it, that would be fine. But if it is the component of your student exchange, that would not be possible. I'm sorry to say that. Okay, how many projects do you plan to fund? What is the total funding, and how many applications do you usually get for partnership? Okay, well, I can tell you one thing. The success rate for the linking stage of the first round of funding was about 28%, meaning almost a little bit more than 1/4 of all applications got approved. And for this round, we are not sure how many applications will get approved because there are several things that we've taken into consideration. First thing is the funding submitted by universities, meaning some universities may submit funding for, I'm talking about the linking stage now, 41,000. Some may submit for 35,000, right? Or for the contact stage, again, some may submit for 2,000, some may submit for 2,500. Also, another consideration that we take is the quality of the proposals. If we see that there are some very good proposals, we would definitely want to sponsor them. I think this is what I wanted to say. I don't know at this moment the exact success rate for the contact stage. I need to calculate it, but it will be pretty similar to linkage, I guess, about maybe 25%, maybe a little bit more, maybe 30%. Okay, thank you, and can you let us know at the end which email we should use to contact you with follow-up questions? Of course, I will write it down. Okay, thank you. I am receiving some thank you notes, and thank you very much for taking time and joining this proposal informational webinar for the proposals that we are expecting soon from you. And let me write down the email. Okay. On there, thank you. I would like to. This is UPP@eurasia.org, and let me expand it. So this is the email, our general email that we use for the communication with potential applicants, with existing applicants. This is the best way to get in touch with us, as well as Facebook. We are very careful and we are very attentive to the Facebook. If you use Facebook to connect with us, we will also immediately answer. But this is the address that you should use to contact us, and this is the address that you should use to submit your applications. Okay, and with that, on behalf of Eurasia Foundation and U.S. Russia University Partnership Program, thank you for joining us today. And we hope that this informational webinar was valuable for you and you got answers to your questions. Again, I will upload this video, this webinar video on the UPP website in the nearest future. You can review it. I will also upload the presentation on the website, and you will get the note on the Facebook and through the UPP newsletter when this all is done. And the same is for Russian webinar. We had a Russian webinar several hours ago. All the information will be in Russian as well. Okay, have a great rest of the day. Thank you very much.